Good morning. Welcome to Morning Motivation. We have been looking at the theory of motivation, particularly focusing on the different aspects of motivation. What really motivates people? We looked at M as an acronym and we said M stood for master. We were focusing on the end of the theory of motivation as it applies to the well-known theory of Abraham Maslow, that in order to be motivated, we must master our craft. That by mastering something, it gives us a form of feedback, and that feedback provides motivation in itself. We're going to look at the theory of motivation from a sociological and a psychological perspective, using two well-known theories of motivation, one known as Henry Mintzberg and the other Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow spoke about the hierarchy of human needs. He segregated the needs of humans in different categories, and that by having this particular need, humans are able to stay motivated. One of the common forms of motivation is looking at motivation from a perspective of self-fulfillment. At this level, the human being has mastered certain other basic needs. In fact, let's put the theory apart. Three categories of needs humans have. The three categories are basic needs, psychological needs, and self-fulfillment needs. At the basic needs level, it says for a human to have a level of motivation, they should first have their physiological needs met, which means there must be an appetite or environment for them to have rest. And these are the basic economic needs, which the economist calls food, clothing, and shelter. And that one must have these factors in place before they can be motivated enough to take on other forms of lively pursuits. So one first needs not to be hungry. One needs a fresh supply of water. Needs to be adequately warm, particularly in a cold country, and should have the ability to have rest. And these are the basic factors. However, this has been criticized on the basis of, in other cultures and other parts of the world, there are people who don't have a place of rest, yet they're motivated enough to pursue other goals. So is this a westernized philosophy and not thus a basic formula that follows every person, regardless of geographical location? Then there's the need for safety. The next tier of human need is the need for security and safety. The need for not having your personal things being looted by someone else. That form of social safety is important. And then, of course, it's being part of a kinship network or a family. It's for these reasons that people join clubs and social societies. An increased need for psychological awareness, that is having the right friends, an intimate relationship, relationship that allows us to feed from the other person. And it's from this that we get the human psychological need of intimacy, being with someone who cares about you beyond the average safety level. Now, not everyone has been fortunate enough to be in an intimate relationship. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot be motivated if you don't have the need of a loved one, single people. Also, we can look at the fact that some people's problems are compounded further by being in relationships that don't adequately satisfy their needs. on the basis of poor choice of friends or poor choice of a lifetime partner, or incompatibilities in the relationship, be it psychological, sexual, or personal. These needs often force people to find these psychological needs from other places, which we won't mention in this broadcast. We're focusing on the fact that to be motivated, we must look at all the different factors that can affect us from achieving our ultimate need, which is, of course, self-fulfillment or self-actualization. Remember first that we are a spirit that lives in a body. We are a spirit who has a soul who lives in a body. However, in our soulish realm, we have these other needs which intrinsically helps us to be grounded, more stable people, more balanced people, who can have a less one-dimensional view of the world around us. And then we look at the esteem needs, which is part of psychological needs. And this tier focuses on prestige, the type of car you drive, where you live, the people you associate with. And all this gives a feeling of accomplishment. Having access to the right kind of people provides a level of esteem to help someone to get to the next level. For instance, this is the overriding factor that we have special clubs with special requirements attended by certain people, like medical associations, legal associations, technology associations, people who are gifted and talented in particular skills will join these associations because of like-minded people. The golf clubs, the sports clubs, all these are outlets for providing esteem needs. Then there's the church that provides a level of spiritual needs for which people want to be a part of. However, people often don't stay in these groups if they don't find like-minded people, and if the people who are part of their peer groups don't give them the feedback and the social esteem that they are looking for. Then there is the self-fulfillment need of achievement. And this is at the pinnacle of the chart what we aspire to. Not just CEOs, not just fund managers and people on six-digit incomes, but anyone who has a hierarchy of needs will always aspire to achieve their ultimate goal, which could be whatever that written goal or vision is. This is the ultimate aspiration of humankind. This is where we are driven to achieve our greatest potential. And this is a God-given innate ability. It's driven by God giving us an ability to want to improve ourselves. We don't want to do the same things we did 4, 5, 6 years ago. We want to do something new. We want to develop a new skill. We want to emphasize the aspects of us that draws people to us. This is the fish being in the water and not on the ground. This is you being among the people who bring out your best talent. That's the self-actualized version of you. And this is the highest level of potential within a human. This is where you don't need anyone to motivate you, because you've found your gift, you've found your calling, you've found your vocation, you've found your pursuit, and you want to keep on aspiring. Whatever that pursuit is, don't allow anyone to take you off course. Remain on course to get to what fulfills you. How do you know? There will be a sense of inadequacy about it. And when you find it, there will be a sense of accomplishment. Even when you are not being rewarded for it financially, you will know this is part of what you were meant to be. Therefore, you don't need any intrinsic factor to motivate you, because you can see your way out. Now let's move on to the next theory, and that is the theory of motivation that has to do with two factors. One is called the hygiene factor, and the second is called the motivational factors, or what I call non-hygiene factors. This was coined by Henry Mintzberg. This is primarily a management theory. However, it's applicable to other forms of motivation. Very similar to Abraham Maslow in the sense that it provides you with recognition and achievement, which is also similar to self-actualization. On the other side of the chart, where you have hygiene factors, we have the factors that can threaten your motivation. What are those factors? Usually in the workplace, it's inadequate compensation or uncertainty around job security, stability in your employment, lack of cooperation with co-workers and not being able to work with people cohesively, lack of collaboration, or an unpleasant management or leader that doesn't allow you to develop your potential. These are factors that threaten your livelihood, your comfort, and your ability to achieve. This doesn't just happen in the workplace. This can also happen in local clubs, communities, as well as churches. Uncomfortable working environment. A working environment that's not conducive to you remaining in a safe environment. It could be lack of ergonomics due to facilities around computers, seating areas, lighting areas, flickering lights from computers. All these things can impact your ability to be motivated and can be a source of headache and migraines and so forth. Not having a environment that's ergonomic. Lack of safety in the workplace. Not being able to trust in someone, not being able to communicate with the right people, at times in terms of line management. These are all factors that affect your ability to be motivated in the workplace. On the other side of the factors, we can talk about opportunities for advancement. If you're in any organization and there's a lack of ability to get to the next level of your vision, this will affect your motivation and would perhaps stimulate you going elsewhere. Responsibility. Are you shouldering the responsibilities that you think you are capable of? It could be a lack of, or it could be too much. Usually it's a lack of that drives someone not to be motivated. Personal development. Is there a need for you to develop to your highest potential? Is there training that allows you to get to this level of accomplishment? What is the quality of work itself? Can you improve your quality of work? Are there facilities that allow you to improve your ability? All these are factors that can hinge and protect your ability to motivate. The important thing here about the hygiene factors is that they don't normally prevent you from being motivated, but when they're absent, it prevents you from being focused on your goal and mission at hand. Motivational theory is just one way of keeping us motivated. What we must look at, not just scientifically, but what are the different roles that these play in our life on a daily basis? Which one of these factors are the factors that keep you focused? If we look at the theory of Abraham Maslow, what we can learn from it is that when we don't have a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense of physiological needs, after a while, they can affect our ability to achieve at the highest level. If you remove any of these factors, primarily our belonging, our safety, and our need for obviously food, it hinges on our ability to remain focused. And the people who are very fulfilled, primarily between the ages of 8 to 15, 15 to 21, are the people who have these safety nets from their family, from their community, that drives them to aspire to other forms of fulfillment. What's important about this chart is not to be taken aback with all of the different level of needs, but to ask yourself, which one of these needs affect you the most? Think of experiences you've had in your life. Was it a family that affected your need for safety? Was it psychological? Was it where you lived? Was it the environment? Was it the people you stayed with? Which one of these needs affected your outlook and your level of achievement? It's important to identify this particular emotional quotient so that it can help you to understand the kind of things that actually motivate you. For others, these factors might not affect them. But for some people, it may be that the drive for them to achieve comes from their environment, their safety net, their immediate surroundings, their family. From others, it might just be the self-esteem that comes from friends. Some people can go to different environments and pull from those environments a need to accomplish more, such as traveling. Going to different places can be a source of motivation. You must find out which area on this chart provides you with the best need, psychological, basic, or social, that can funnel you to your highest level of motivation. You may find out that you're relatively robust enough to go from any of these different needs and still be motivated. In other words, if your safety net is compromised, you can find it in your family relationships, or if your family relationship is compromised, you can find it in the workplace, and so on and so forth. There's different ways to interpret and navigate your way around this chart. It doesn't necessarily mean that you must have all of them in place. You may find some. When I was growing up as a teenager, my safety net came from my school, my friends, and my teachers, because that's where I felt at that age of my life I was vulnerable. So I took all the safety net from my school, all the input from my teachers, and that allowed me to acclimatize and achieve my examination results. As a student, it's important that you find out where is your safety net, where can you find your sense of belonging so that you can achieve. You might be a minister in a church and find that a pastoral network, a leadership network, is where you get most of your extrinsic needs met. We all have these social needs, and you must identify where they are or where you can find them. It might be becoming part of the Toastmasters, where you learn to speak, where you learn to develop necessary communication skills to do presentations. Whatever is your outlet, or whatever forum or mechanism you use to develop your social needs, your psychological needs, and your basic needs, whatever method that is, find it, stick to it, so that you can accomplish everything that you are meant to achieve. Thank you very much for listening to Morning Motivation.